Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Salute to the NBA community. Good evening. You are now rocking with the best. This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk. What's up to the NBA community? Y'all already know how we rocking and what we about to hear for tonight. Big up again to the NBA community. Shout out to everybody out there, man. It's about mid-season in the NBA. We halfway through the 76th NBA season, and I want to talk about the awards. I want to talk about the MVP, the Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. You already know the vibes, Most Improved Player. It's time for me to give you guys my picks, and I most definitely want your guys' thoughts on the mid-season's awards as well. So make sure y'all smash that like button. Couple things to actually talk about. So let's get right into the show. So here is my list right now for all of the mid-season awards. Now, let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Coach of the Year, in my opinion, right now, I got to give it to Coach Mazzulla for the Boston Celtics. I mean, when you look at the roller coaster ride that the Celtics have went through since the offseason with the internal things, coming off of a finals loss, you know, the guy who you thought was a leader in Jason Tatum didn't look too much of a leader in the final round last year. So there was a lot going against Boston coming off of that impressive season last year. And I don't know how they've done it, but Coach Joe Mazzulla has been able to get Boston not only relevant, they've been pretty much on paper the best team in the NBA. So shout out to Coach Mazzulla. I definitely got to give Coach Mazzulla his props on that. So he right now, to me, mid-season, because the Boston has surprised me so much, is definitely my Coach of the Year right now. You know, there's still some coaches out there that's impressive. We still got a lot of basketball to go. But mid-season wise right now, as far as awards, I'm giving it to Joe Mazzulla. Now, the sixth man of the year. This is kind of interesting because I know a lot of people may have Brogdon as the sixth man of the year at this point. I'm going with Russell Westbrook, though. Even though the Lakers are not playing that great, they still struggling, still playing under 500 basketball. Russell, to me, is not a sixth man. And in order for Russell to even be considered in this right here, he would have to have bought in. Y'all know the story. Russell Westbrook has been pretty much all in this year when it comes to the new role that he has played. And for what it's worth, he has played it very, very well, man. He's been exceptional. He's turning the ball over a little bit less. He's more of an impact player to me than he was with the Lakers last year. There are some moments I feel like they should move Russell back into the starting lineup. That's how good he's been playing. But, you know, I guess time will tell all that. But I actually have Russell as my sixth man of the year, just based off of the expectations, the doubt that a lot of people probably had with Russell accepting this role and being able to exceed in it. Most people thought if Russell Westbrook was going to come off the bench, that meant he also was going to try to take every shot possible. If you look at Russell Westbrook's numbers, he is facilitating. He is getting other people involved. So that's why I really got Russell Westbrook sixth man of the year right now, the midseason, just for the simple fact that he like I said, exceeded the expectations of having to play that role, doing his job. He's getting other people involved, but the Lakers are just not winning games. But I got Russell as my sixth man of the year. Most improved player, man, I'm going with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Definitely should be an all-star this season. He's been doing his thing out OKC. Played well last year. So he's going for my most improved. I got Paolo Banchero as the rookie of the year. He is dominating the league right now. I like the way he is playing, looking in Orlando. Brook Lopez, it was a toss-up for defensive player of the year for me between Brook Lopez and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has been playing well, but I like Brook Lopez right now mid-season. I'm giving him the defensive player of the year so far. But Ben Simmons definitely can continue to make some noise. But without Kevin Durant, y'all already know the vibes. I've been saying it time and time again. They need offense from Ben. And then we got the MVP award, Money in the Bank, Running the Bank. Let's talk about my MVP selection. As y'all can see, is Luka Doncic. I can call me a hater. I just do not see Nikola Jokic, even though he's been playing very, very good basketball himself. Denver is, has had a good record. I'm still not like, they don't scare me. I know I'm not playing, but I don't have a fear factor in Nikola Jokic. I don't have a fear factor in Denver. And a lot of people question, well, it should be a landslide for Nikola because what would the Nuggets be without him? What would Dallas be without Luka? I don't know if Luka is a gift and a curse because they even tried to get Kemba Walker to come over there and help Luka out when he had nobody, and that didn't even work. Kemba is gone. Jalen Brunson is in New York. We're going to talk about Jalen in a couple minutes. But Luka is clearly running the show. He needs help, but I don't know what type of help he could use. But when you talk about value, if Luka's not playing, Dallas at the end of the day, to me, when we talk about competitive games, non-existent. Denver still has a decent ball club in my eyes, if they are healthy. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., just to name a couple. Like, I think Denver's a better team than Dallas on paper. So that, to me, makes Luka more valuable than Nikola Jokic, even though Denver may have a better record. Nah. I'm going to be 100% real. If he wasn't injured, Kevin Durant right now would be my MVP, looking at what Brooklyn has went through, and then they had that 12-game winning streak. KD, right before he went down, I was talking about being the MVP. Now, I know a lot of people may got Jason Tatum as being the MVP, and I can kind of dig it. I can understand it. I remember at the beginning of the year, I said that I really didn't want to talk about Jason Tatum that much until we got into the postseason, because what I watched last year from him, I was real disappointed in how he got to that final round against Golden State and came up short. He just did not play well. And I thought Jalen Green had possibly took over as the new, I'm sorry, not Jalen Green, Jaylen Brown had possibly took over the leader role in Boston. That's where my mindset was in the offseason. Now, seeing what Boston has went through with the Ime Udoka scandal, Jason Tatum is playing out of his world in the first half of this regular season. So I'm going to give him his props. I can't act like I don't see what I see. He is definitely playing good basketball. But I'm not all in on Jason Tatum until we get to April and May and possibly June. I've read this book before. But that's the reason why. And to be honest, if you want to give Jason Tatum the MVP right now, mid-season, I could jack it. I could jack it. Like I said, but again, if you take him off I do believe Boston loses a lot of ground. They won't be the number one seeded team in the East, but I still think they'll be a playoff team. If Denver could get healthy, and if Nikola Jokic was not there, they would definitely lose ground. But Denver has a good enough team in the West to make the play-in. Kevin Durant is out for a month, so he's pretty much disqualifying himself. When you look at Luka, no help. They are relevant. But if you take him out, Dallas is nowhere near a threat, even in the Western Conference, for making a serious playoff run. So all that 3-time MVP for Nikola Jokic to me is a bunch of cat. For every argument that you have for Nikola Jokic being the MVP, I'm going with Luka right now in the midseason being my NBA MVP. So once again, my midseason awards go to Luka, the MVP, Brook Lopez, Defensive Player of the Year, Paolo at the Rookie of the Year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the most improved. I'm going with Russ. Russell Westbrook is my sixth man of the year so far. And Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla, definitely in my eyes, coach of the year at this point. So those are my midseason awards. Give it up for those guys. Next up, man, I got to talk about this guy. I got to give this guy a little bit of props. When New York had decided to pay over $120 million to Jaylen Brown, I thought I had to talk to the bosses. I thought the Knicks were out of their mind to pay this guy over $100 million, even though it wasn't like a supermax deal. And I knew what he did last year in Dallas in the postseason with Luka. But I thought that was a small sample size. I was not sold or convinced that Jalen Brunson had shown us stability enough to get that type of deal from New York when there were other people I felt like New York could have chased with the money if they would have been patient. But they made the move, and man, Jalen Brunson is balling. I mean, he's really changed my mind as far as the type of player he is and, the impact that he's having over there in New York. And that's a couple things I wanted to talk about when we lock in with Jalen Brunson. But before we get into that part, I do find this a little bit disrespectful. This is the actual fan vote for the NBA All-Star game. And if you look, teammate Derrick Rose is number 9 in the guard voting for the NBA fan votes. Jalen Brunson is not even in the top 10, which is really interesting to me. And they got Derrick Rose at number 9. So I really feel like the fans, again, don't know what they're talking about. And they definitely dropped the ball with that one. But yeah, he's been definitely doing his thing. He's been very impressive. And you talk about the impact on the New York Knicks culture. Like you look at the Knicks, man, they got a winning record. Those guys, when I look at their team, I still don't think that they are a finishing product. I know Julius Randle's playing well. R.G. Barrett is playing very well. They got their things together. They be clicking on both ends of the court. But I'm not sold that that roster is the team that's going to really get it done. I still think that they got room for immediate improvement. I like Mitchell Robinson. You know what I'm saying? I like him in New York, but I think he definitely has trade value, a little bit of potential, depending on if it's the system needs him. So the Knicks got a lot of upside as long as the injury bug don't hurt them. But Jalen Brunson, he's bringing clutch gene to New York. They got some ballers in New York, but they don't have a lot of guys that's been proven to be able to get it done in the clutch. And he looked like the one that wants that basketball when the games are close and things of that nature. Like, you got to be impressed with the drive of Jalen Brunson. And like I said, man, he's definitely changing my mind because I wasn't sold that he could keep this up. And to be honest, that he was worth the 100 and something million from New York. But he definitely has proved me wrong. And he got New York playing very well, man. Like I said, they got a winning record. They have few games over 500. So this is not like an anomaly or nothing like that. Like, the Knicks are really doing their thing. Now, better fit for Jalen Brunson, staying in Dallas or going to New York? I mean, this is iffy. If you talk short term, if Jalen Brunson would have stayed in Dallas, with the way that the power is shifting in the conferences, because I believe the Eastern Conference is getting a little bit tougher, the Western Conferences are getting a little bit weaker. Jalen Brunson would have another shot to go back to the Western Conference Finals, maybe even the NBA Finals this year, if he would have stayed in Dallas. However, I don't think that they would have been able to get it done, make it to the finals, or even win the NBA Finals without more help. So even though he probably would have went back to the Western Conference Finals with Luka, they more than likely would have lost. And then we'd have still had more questions arising in the offseason of Dallas not having enough. What are they going to do? Then they might be using this guy's trade bait like he's more of a liability than an asset. So big picture wise, and then you got a lot of young talent. New York is the biggest market. So big picture wise, I think the better fit for Jalen is going to be in New York. You see how well he's playing right now. So even if New York wants to go in a different direction for whatever reason, Jalen has put himself in position where his stock is up. So I don't think he's going to have any problem being successful in New York or moving forward. I am being sold that dude is consistent. He's definitely played at an all-star level. I don't know how long he got until that actually can change. But if he doesn't make the all-star team and Derrick Rose do, I'm sorry, I got to keep it real. Shout out to Derrick Rose, but I would have to talk to the damn bosses. I'm not even going to. Last but not least, man, how far could Jalen Brunson take the New York Knicks? How far could Jalen Brunson take the New York Knicks? You know, one part of me feel like sky's the limit. Orange and blue skies. They looking like a team that can make the playoffs, not just the play-in. They look like they definitely can win a series, depending on who they matched up with. If they healthy, if they are clicking. I like the way Julius Randle is playing with his conviction. New York can be one of those teams that can give some teams some problems. So I do think that he can take them into April, maybe even into May. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks are playing exceptionally well. So I am sold that Jalen Brunson is the real deal. He's definitely changed my mind on that notion. How far can he actually take the Knicks? Like I said, I'll give them definitely playoff contention. I'll give them maybe even a first round win, depending on who they matched up with. I still think the Knicks need a lot of work to do. Not a whole lot, but that roster, it's like they're missing a piece or two, but they're going to have to give up. Like, they're going to have to shake some things up in New York. It's just going to be interesting to see how management play with these pieces. Because if you get rid of the wrong piece, it all falls down. But if you make the right moves, man, New York could definitely be one of those competitors in the Eastern Conference who's coming back to be looking like the best conference in the NBA. So I think he can definitely take these guys to the postseason. But I still think overall the Knicks got a lot of work to do. But they doing well right now. No disrespect. And Jalen Brunson definitely got me sold. So big up to Jalen. Big up to the Knicks. And big up to you guys, man. I'm Seven Mitchell with the Best of Seven Sports Talk. About to get up out of here. Just wanted to tap in, give you guys my mid-season award categories and my winners for the NBA mid-season, as well as chop it up, talk about Jalen Brunson. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. If you're new to this channel, hit that notification bell. I'll catch you guys on a live stream tomorrow here at the Best of Seven Sports Talk. I'm Seven Mitchell. Have a great Friday evening. Be safe. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.